Let's pull up our map bans and have a chat about that. Starting off with our first pick after 4 spans. Please take it away.
Right, so DarkZero trying to hit BDS at a weak point, picking border here. Despite BDS picking this map in the EUL finals, they lost it 7-2 to ITB, making it one of only 2 maps that BDS lost domestically in Stage 1. Neither them nor DarkZero have played this map through the Manchester Major thus far.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a map that BDS have historically liked in terms of the old roster. The new roster is trying to incorporate it a little bit more, but I can see why DarkZero would pick into it. If we move through to the very next map, we're going to see that it's Oregon. And that's where it's a bit of a surprise, because if you look at BDS, they picked into Oregon, and it's a map that I wouldn't say that is particularly a stronghold map of BDS. It's one where they lost to PSG Talon in groups on.
You're right, Jack, but Oregon is a map that DarkZero do not play. A 1-3 record in Stage 2 last year. They permabanned it through SI. They've not played it since. This is DarkZero's worst map. If we get to that Oregon, when we see that, it's gonna be hard to find. Now, our final map coming through here, it's gonna be Consulate. That'll be a fun one for sure. DarkZero, 2 games this season, first smashing Auction and a 7-1 victory, but they couldn't get past Beast Coast in the NAL semifinals. They blew a 5-1 lead on that map last time they played it.
Yeah, and crucially, not Beast Coast, BDS are going to get to start out on the defense of Consulate, which I think, to be honest, is the map that you're most comfortable defending out of all 9 in the map pool right now. So if we get that, if we get to that third map, that's what we'll be talking about, how BDS will start on their defense.
Gentlemen, we've set everything up, we've set up our maps, and now it's time to introduce our contestants.
It's no secret that this team is back to its best. It's Europe's last hope, BDS! They stormed through the quarterfinals, sending home an EU rival. And by all accounts, they expect the same result here with a home crowd as their 6th man. Can they make it to the grand finals? Their opponents are looking to paint the town red, white and blue. It's DarkZero! This time, 2 years ago, they won their first major in Charlotte. That is where Canadian won his 4th international event. He's here again, this time with another world champion by his side and a UK favourite on fire. Let's have a conversation here before we get into it with Solotov and Nath as they join me on the stage ahead of this pivotal semi-final. Solotov, you are one of the recent additions to this BDS roster, but you are making a massive impact. How confident are you feeling here on the stage?
Really confident. We're pretty sure we're going to win this series. Quick 3-0. That's it.
Quick 2-0, that's it. Very confident words from Solotov. Nath, I don't ever like to initiate a chant on stage, but he's one of our own. So if you want to get that going, feel free. Nath, what's it mean to you to be stood in front of your home crowd here?
Honestly, it's crazy. Well, compared to Brazil, a lot less hostility towards me, so yeah, definitely a positive.
You two have played on the same team. This time round, enemies. Any last words for one another?
It was just supposed to be this way. I was talking to Dave before as well, like the major. We know we were going to meet in the finals. It could be semi, quarter, or the final, but it seems like it's the semi-final. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a great game as well.
And you, Nath?
I mean, I said to these guys when they first joined, obviously, my M&M boys, it's destined, it was meant to be. But at the end of the day, only one European in that final tomorrow.
All right, shake hands and go and get into position. Best of luck to BDS and to DarkZero. It's time to find out who will join Beast Coast in our grand final with our casters. Let's get over to them right now. It is Dev Mata and Lynx. Take it away, you two.
Thank you very much, Ian. It is about time for a little bit of an EU versus NA rivalry. North America already has one team into the grand final, and representing that on the cast, I got the big dog, Lynx. But Europe have been cheering this whole time for the European teams, and we only have BDS left. We've got a UK player on both of these teams. from Eminem to Enemies now on the main stage. Which will take it?
Now, okay, I know a lot of people are gonna think, oh, this guy, he's gonna be up on the broadcast, he's gonna be trolling, saying, oh, DarkZero are gonna win, they're gonna win 2-0, it's gonna be an all NA final. And don't get me wrong, that would be really funny. Unbelievably funny if DarkZero were to beat BDS. However, it makes sense that we're here, Dev. Sure, G2 have been great. Sure, Team Secret were on the come up. But BDS were one of the 3 tournament favorites alongside 2 Brazilian teams. They've been knocked off, one of which by Beast Coast again. Big dogs from NA. But we know who the crowd wants. And frankly, there's one team in this matchup that the story wants, and that Rainbow Six needs to be back in a final.
Very true, and as you can see, while this major is in Manchester, the entire of Europe has shown up. French flags, I even see some Swiss flags flown for BDS right at the front, and the chicken for some reason. But for BDS, they have the pressure of their whole region on their shoulders. And, well, it has been quite a long time since we've seen BDS and DarkZero meet in the server. They haven't played each other for over 2 years. And every time they have met, it has been a full 3 maps or a full 15 rounds. We are guaranteed that this is going to be a phenomenal match.
We've been missing some 3-mappers this majors. I mean, you know, frankly, I'm glad Beast Coast are up 4-0 in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. Very happy they've not gone to a 3rd map. But aside from Furia Liquid and Furia looking a little out of it that series, we haven't really had a banger 3-mapper series. We've had only one that went the full distance. But here, to keep EU's final team in the tournament, to make sure that, as opposed to what Nafe said, that there's more than just one European in the server in our grand final tomorrow, I want to see Shaiko tested. I want to see Canadian trying to solve every minuscule problem in front of him, almost at his wit's end on map 3. That is what we need to fully solidify what I still think, hopefully, will be BDS in the grand final tomorrow. Oh. That's my prediction.
Yeah, your prediction, certainly the hopes of the crowd. BDS is already getting a little bit sweaty. They've gone backstage, changed their jerseys, and walked back out again, and they're looking extremely ready. Now, it is actually quite a warm day here in Manchester today. We don't get many of those.
Unseasonably so.
Yeah, I've been here for about a week, and it's been raining most of the time. Today, it's a sunny, it's in our 20s. It's beautiful. It's quite a day to sit inside and play some video games, and it's going to get very warm.
Is Shaiko a hot environment player?
Yeah.
Can he handle the heat?
Can he handle the heat?
He's been having a bit of a rough tournament so far. I mean, popping off every map here or there, but it's really been a tournament between Yuzus, Likifac on Beast Coast. I mean, Yuzus especially, not only one of the highest rated players at the tournament, but also, despite his more passive role, one of the best entry players on Beast Coast. Sorry, I'm still stuck in the previous matchup.
Mate. Or living in the future, maybe.
Hey, only time will tell. Watch what Chunder can do tomorrow. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Beast Coast certainly will be watching this game very intently to know whether they will be playing against the Europeans or their North American rivals. BDS, though, what a story it has been for them. Last year, their worst year ever of Rainbow Six. We are dead split with DarkZero just edging ahead. The power of Bolo on their side. BDS and DarkZero are about to go head-to-head on the first map of Border. It is Europe's last hope and an intercontinental classic, Europe versus North America. Only one can chase a second major title. Former teammates now battle for their first grand final.
And on a map I really expected, but not to come from DarkZero. They've brought Border into their pool this stage, and if you're not only a fan of Rainbow Six, but Rainbow Six Esports, you're thinking, DarkZero picked Border? One of the most chaotic maps, one of the least controllable maps for a structured team? That's where DarkZero have gone? We'll probably get a bit of a clue into their strategy with this ban phase. They have played it before this stage. It's been very hit or miss. Dominant wins from huge Pamazoo performances, dominant losses. But for their attacking and defensive bans, well, what do you know? It's Dokkaebi Azami, as it always is.
Yeah, they do tend to favor Dokkaebi Azami, and it's BDS that, if anything, have thrown a spanner in the works. The Monty taken out, a serious favorite this year since the Shield rework. Monty has been so prolific in the tournament so far. not here on Border. But Glaz, Osa, Sens, Ying, all of these powerful execute operators that enable those cheeky rushes on Border will be kept in.
But more importantly, and most importantly of all the operators left up in my mind, is the Solus. Because we have one big Solus player on DarkZero and a couple big Solus players on BDS. LickyFac playing that Solus with the Specchio scanner, renowned on Oregon, our second map, by the way, for running around the map, taking 1v1s, and being an absolute nuisance. But on the side of DarkZero, Canadian is the Solus player on this roster, and right now he's minus 12 in the entry over the past 3 months, since the beginning of stage 1 to now. As Fresh mentioned, on the defense, constantly roaming, constantly anchoring, and constantly picked off early. I'm very worried that whoever has the Solus in their hands, in this case, Shaiko, might be a little more effective.
Every one of these players has played a mage before. Everyone knows what it's like to perform on stage. Some more so than others. This is Troy Canadian's 15th time playing on a main stage at a tournament of this caliber, and he is hungry to raise another trophy. Whichever team wins, they will have a shot at being the second ever team to win a second major trophy. And we're deep into this round already.
You can hear the crowd already excited. Probably the most energetic I've seen them this weekend already, and we're not even 40 seconds in, just now 40 seconds into Border. A couple players spotted on Deimos' scanner, Pamazoo already with a couple options. Deimos be very dangerous to take down the CCTV player. Solotov, oh, long angle, Nafe dueling with the very player he just squared off against on the stage. LickyFac. There's another early death for Canadian, the Ying and the Hibana gone.
Huge start for BDS. DarkZero was simply waiting, and BDS more than happy to give them a few early engagements. I wonder who the crowd's favoring in this match.
They want this 5v3 converted. They want Yuzus to hold on. Don't want Pamazoo to spot him with that Deathmark tracker. Instead, it's the Warden. LickyFac found, but there's Yuzus. There's Solotov. And there's likely round 1 for BDS.
Oh, MJR can't find anything. The Europeans open Border with a very dominant round. Looking more chill than ever. DarkZero a little bit slow to start on their map pick. We always knew that Border was a little bit of a curveball, not a favorite map of both teams, highly banned, and yet it has been picked here by DarkZero.
This is the problem. Their chants are so complex for me. I'm like, what are they saying?
I can't understand them. Anyone speak British?
Can we get Nafe? Nafe on the line to translate. Yuzus as well. Our 2 Brits.
Is he bleeding?
What?
Did I see that right? He's, okay, so we have a technical pause because Nafe was destroyed so much in that round that he got a nosebleed.
the whiplash hit him.
Wow, did you see that shot that Solotov landed onto him?
That was a little ridiculous.
I'm not surprised. Let's have a look at a replay of this shot from Solotov's POV. That's the shot that gave Nafe a nosebleed. Look at all these one-taps today.
Jesus Christ. And a wall bang. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is already in round 1. My fears for how Border could play out against BDS. I know, poor Nafe.
A bit frustrating for the squad as well. Just having to hold on and chill out. Very rarely do we have a medical emergency, if you can call this that, on stage causing a technical pause. Usually it's something game-related,
yeah,
admin-related.
It's very funny that this is also like, we have a technical pause. Something's gone wrong with his body.
Yeah, technical malfunction with Nafe himself.
I don't think I haven't had a nosebleed in like 7 years, I don't know.
Must be nice to be you then.
Can we get a beer can?
Oh, can we get it for Shaiko? BDS just chilling and waiting. Same can be said for Pamba here.
Mr. Zhao or Mr. Zhu.
It's the Zoo.
Pronunciation changes depending on the nationality.
Oh, Canadian, seeing him on a main stage just feels right. Imagine him back in a grand final again. DarkZero, well, it's been quite a long few years that these guys have been in the scene. They've seen their fair share of main stages. 7 different events they've qualified for the main stage. And as I said before, Troy himself 14 times. And after back-to-back main stage in Atlanta and Sao Paulo, these guys now have another shot at the trophy. We're going to a very quick break while we sort out this technical issue. We'll be back before you know it. Welcome back to the Manchester Major. The leak has been plugged, ladies and gentlemen, and we are ready to get back into the game. Naif is looking spry as ever. An opening round that was very dominantly in favor of BDS. Shook DZ a little bit more than we expected, but now we can get back into it.
And to build off on something that I brought up earlier, which was that first round went, in my worst case potential scenario, was basically what happened in that first round for DarkZero, which is, okay, BDS are one of the best teams at getting aggressive, and even if they aren't the best in a given series, they've got Shaiko, they've got LickyFat, they've got Uses, they've got Solotov.
Well, there are DZ fans in the crowd.
They are.
Didn't hear them before, but certainly see them now.
And they have every right to cheer for their team, of course. DarkZero, in the midst of the NAL stage, having a bewildering series of losses that seemed like they quite literally could not even begin to comprehend what to do in the round, or a case of overthinking so egregious it paralyzed players at given moments. But then they bounced back later in the playoffs. They were able to qualify for the major. They've looked much sharper this event, as I think we would expect.
Yeah, and when you get Troy on main stage, you know what happens.
It's where he lives.
Where he likes
it's
to
his
live.
room.
Shaiko as well, a legend in his own right. Having a good first round, having a maybe not as much of a stellar tournament as we expected, but that's just because we've seen BDS play for 2 months now with this rejuvenated roster with Turkish Solotov and the British Users joining this French roster. The team moving to speak English instead of French from now on, and well, they've really come into their own form this stage, haven't they?
And Shaiko's role on previous rosters was to basically be the win condition in 50% of their rounds. Resource after resource poured into him to set him up for success, whereas now, he's just an outstanding player amongst other outstanding players. Yuzus can take some resources, LickyFat can take some resources. It's not just the Shaiko show anymore, which takes the burden off his shoulders and also requires that he doesn't need to drop 15 kills a match for BDS to have a good tournament. Not that they needed that before, but it was very helpful to have one of the best players in the world. Speaking of, NJR cutting down Shaiko early on, thinks he can go for the run out, and he's been baited.
Well played from DZ. Slow and steady wins the race of the opening pick. Amber's also gone downstairs, and he's on the hunt for this player down below. He does lose his fight, but Bolo's there to save him for a brief moment. Users drop down below, but the plant is going down. Another player drops down below. BDS prioritizing hunting. And they have vacated the bomb site. They have allowed DZ to come in and look for this plant. Now the three of them locked in place from the E1D of NJR. Look to make this retake a reality. There might be a chance. Tuck in the corner here, LickyFat has to cover. It's up to NJR to make sure that this cannon defuse doesn't happen. Good jump out from Solotov. He finds his man. Big bad Canadian. Can't get anything done, but it's okay because his teammate denied the plant. Now it's up to the big bad Canadian. There's 11 seconds to get this defuse. Canadian, he has to cover himself. He has to cover the diffuser. He can't do both at the same time. LickyFat locks in the retake for BDS.
And a bit of a rarity for DarkZero. I believe Jesse mentioned yesterday. Ridiculous attacking conversion percentage when they get that opening pick for DarkZero. And what happens here? NJR baits Shaiko on the run out. DZ get their win condition, put the diffuser down. But BDS are so good mechanically and coordinating, they can fight back. They can take fights, but most importantly, the player retaking doesn't actually fully commit to the fight with Canadian up top. LickyFat gets that kill, goes for the defuse, but Solotov does something more important, which is waste Canadian's time. Make him peek back and forth, make him retake angles to allow LickyFat to get that defuse. BDS now up 2-0.
Beautiful way to do it as well. BDS know how to fight when backed into a corner, and that's exactly what happened that round. Now, DZ, 2 rounds into their map pick, are yet to find much.
10 seconds to go.
The first round in particular was quite pitiful. BDS did not give any quarter to DZ, did not give them a chance to get into that round. And now the North American squad move on to the third different bomb site they will have to attack.
Third chance to try and gain some momentum in this matchup. Pambazu talked about this is sort of overall domestically and internationally been a so-so stage in comparison to his previous performance, but had a really good day against M80 yesterday on the Deimos, a really good operator to make this work, but lack of intel. Very common for the defense to place utility on that balcony, be it barbed wire or an F-Not mine. In this case, he walks right into it and gives Solotov an easy pick. 0-3 now. One of DarkZero's key entries silent for the remainder of this round.
Bit of a rotation as well. Oh, NJR finds a very dirty kill through the drone hole deep into bathroom. BDS is going to be kicking himself for that one. This roam is still quite far afield. LickyFat alone has a few options. He's got impact grenades to make himself rotations out. Meanwhile, Bolo, you might have heard of him, third best player in Manchester. And he's on for an entry here on Archives as DZ set their sights on top floor control.
Yeah, at this event, Bolo, fucking a 118 rating so far. Such a key player, not only in the history of Rainbow Six, of course, a hammer lifter himself. Very strong individual performance. Bit more passive at the moment. Him and NJR trying to pinch this player in Fountain, but Solotov to take the fight. He's got the intel. He'll hold Fountain for the time being. BDS's overall defensive setup relatively unpunctured. Solotov and Fountain can be traded out by Shaiko on top of the Teller's Hatch. There's also LickyFat moving around the metal stairs. DarkZero might have made this a 4v4. They've taken down BDS on the site, but these roamers are fine. The best thing they have is control of Customs and Passport at the moment, but Leaky Fat can easily retake this, and DZ need to be ready for that.
A form of a bait here, perhaps. No, DZ indeed are committing to this execute as Big Bad Nadian finds his way deep into Tellers. Leaky Fat trades one back and brings BDS into a winnable situation, but that diffuser's going down. Is there cover? NJR here on the window finds his man, his third, his fourth. Big round from NJR, Bolo to find the final. A reply from DZ.
Crowd not happy with DZ getting there first. Would have much preferred a 3-0 and likely a tactical timeout from Mint.
There are pockets of the crowd.
There are. There's a couple DZ sections. Of course, that round for DZ, a 51-49, I would say. They're able to get into the site itself, but there is still Leaky Fat, who can either move up the hallway, try and take fights with players in courtyards, but really nice kill from NGR right there to clear out the site. Force one of the BDS roamers to actually fall back and play the site, but then just doing what he does best. NGR has got to be one of the best cutoff players in the world, always holding windows. I would say kind of the modern day thinking name in many ways.
Yeah, he's top 16 player in the tournament as well. It's been a standout tournament for a lot of these DZ players, and it really has needed to be. While they have been back-to-back at international events, both Atlanta and Sao Paulo, making main stage time and time again, we haven't seen them have a big win on the main stage, or any win whatsoever, since they were champions in Charlotte 2 years ago, and they had the NA crowd buff on their side. They certainly didn't have the NA crowd buff in Brazil, and they barely found any rounds in their matchup there against the Brazilians. Now, I don't think they have the crowd on their side, but DZ are a team that certainly wants it and certainly play off of it well. So if you are part of that DZ section in the crowd, you know what to do.
Well, it seems the rest of Manchester also knew how to respond. But DarkZero, as you mentioned, have often been, I suppose, the unfavored team in the crowd, the enemies in a given matchup. Canadian, very familiar with that position on the blitz of all operators, taking quick control of break room.
This is very good. He's a bit cautious because of the dread mine. Uses, he goes deep for it, flash! Big Bad Nadian finds his pick. And no refrag possible from BDS. Solotov pushing for more, and he gets it. But another one from the blitz. Walking into a crossfire. Troy has to steal his nerve and fall back for a brief moment, as Solotov has been on fire. 5-1 in this game so far. Oh, but he's wall-banged out of the server. BremNJR out-fragging him as well is the American. BDS, got to be careful because NJR is cleaning house.
Now it's on Shaiko in many ways to retake. Leaky Fat deep into the site. Oh, one engagement crops up and he reacts in time. But NJR is on for another 4K in a row.
Here goes the blitz. Adian going for it. Now Leaky Fat is a good operator for this.
Back to back.
What can you do against this guy? NJR's 10-1. 3 rounds into the game.
He's greasing the wheels for these DZ attacks. You can see how fervently BDS are fighting for that map control. Canadian runs into break room, is able to get that first pick, and there is immediately somebody, Fountain and Metal Stairs, to stop him from getting entry into Beepers, Fountain, anywhere. And that attack probably gets stalled out, at least for the next 45 seconds, if NJR can't get that kill. If he can't sit outside the reinforcement, wall bang the guy Fountain, because that allows Canadian to rotate over, be the tip of the spear, and then on top of that, he just decides to end the round on his own accord afterwards.
Dude's having a life game, and you wouldn't be able to read it on his face. Good tie-up at the scoreline for DZ. It was sorely needed, down 0-2. They did not have a lot of momentum in that first round at all. Now they're back into it. And on their map pick, they need to push for a big win. There is a world here where DZ takes this series 2-0.
There is. There is a world where they could take this series. And with rounds like that, if they've got NJR popping off, or Pamazoo maybe showing up as well. Really, they just need some player to help them get that opening pick and get an entry into the map. Because when DZ are trying to set up their execute, the best matchups for their opponents, or well, the worst matchups for them, are teams that play like BDS is playing right now, that are fighting at every entry point, fighting for every bit of map control to stop them from getting set up to get that diffuser down. So they need somebody like Pamazoo, or NJR in this case, to get the requisite kills, to secure the necessary control, and allow DarkZero to get into the site. It's not always NJR. Even Canadian has been having an all right tournament compared to some previous ones. As long as somebody's able to go big in these rounds, it can work out. Armory Archives defense, as you can see, and one player that needs to go down is Bride with this C4 right here. LickyFac would be a nice alternative to deal with that Solus from below. But DarkZero need to get inside of Workshop to make sure nobody can deny this plant vertically.
It looks like Pamba has done just that.
Waiting for the
also
Solus.
Waiting for a player to drop, and LickyFac actually gets sprayed from NJR. Good teamwork here from DZ. They found the opening pick, and an impactful one it could be, but Shaiko's pushing for more! Massive from the Frenchman! He finds the double, and the Osa shield has been dismantled. Nafe to replace the position of NJR here on the window, but he's gonna have to fall off, and DZ will have to think up a new plan.
I can tell you this so far, we're only 5 rounds in, but this is going to be a good game. DZ are looking sharp. They're recognizing what they need to do to get their diffuser down, get Pamazoo down below, hold the cutoff. NJR doing well individually to take down LickyFac. But then you also have BDS still able to perform individually, retake control of that Office Archive side, destroy the Osa shield, and now DZ are forced to rotate. They've got to push somewhere else, and they're ready, BDS are, for Pamazoo to lurk up metal stairs. They know they have the advantage. DarkZero's only option is to rotate Armory side, and BDS are clearly ready for it.
That's very aggressive there, and doubling down now, Nath. He is eliminated inside of Armory, and Bolo doesn't withstand anything at all. A desperate attempt from DZ, and BDS more than happy to pick up the pieces and regain the lead.
And again, an extremely close affair. DarkZero with that kill onto the Solus, Pamazoo holding things down below. They had it all. But Shaiko able to get that kill on the player on the vent window, then rotate around, and even if he doesn't get that kill, destroy the Osa shield, he's reignited that threat of the player inside of Archives. So DZ, best case scenario, would have been forced to reset and try again, but then he gets that kill, puts DZ in the 3v4, they've got control of the Office side. Now DZ have to rotate, and BDS know it.
Another really good long angle kill from NJR. He has been very hot, but when Shaiko goes big, there's only so much you can do. Shaiko's got a 4K in that round and feeling like the Shaiko mood. 4-4-4, that's what we know him for.
There's been 3 of them in a row. Yeah. 2 from NJR, now 1 from Shaiko.
10 seconds remaining.
Might be what this game comes down to. If DarkZero are calling well and BDS are adapting accordingly, it might just come down to whose players are showing up more consistently and more impactfully on the day, which is when matches of the tournament happen, when close games become memorable. For the final site BDS decided to go to, we're going down to Customs and Inspection. Down below on the first floor, not a site we see all that often, but it's border. The map's like 2 centimeters wide. We're gonna see a lot of the same positions held we normally see. CCTV, maybe moving a bit into Armory and Break Room on the opposite side, maybe ventilation and workshop down below. You generally just have to hold everything vertically and horizontally around that site within the immediate vicinity.
I like this from Nafe as well with the Flores drones. He's just taking out a lot of these castle barricades very early on. I just know how much fun the crowd's having even when there's nothing happening in the game. And I love that.
They know how to keep themselves entertained. I respect that. 5v5 now, and some action will surely happen imminently with Pamazoo outside of CCTV again.
It's the last round of the half as well, Carter, so DZ realistically need this. And Nadian managing to hack that Maestro camera is going to be massive. He's got both of the cams in his control now.
Excellent find. If DarkZero want to go through that jail wall, get that diffuser down. Bolo finds Solotov. That's the CCTV player that unfortunate outside spawn angle not going Solotov's way in the final round of the half compared to the first. But Shaiko's still holding control of 90. He can also retake this position, take the fight with Bolo outside on the balcony. This is still generally, I mean, obviously with the 5v4, going DarkZero's way. With all the utility they found in sight, all the Maestro cams they found, if one of these anchors goes down at little cost to DarkZero, this seems like we'll have a tie half.
Yeah, BDS have really struggled in this round. They've been picked apart by DZ, but Leaker brings at least one kill onto their side. At the cost of a lot of HP, though, DZ have made their way into the building.
They have, but the core issue, they still haven't found anybody on the site, but there's one.
Could it be converted? That was just a trade on the Leaker fact. Users is still surviving. Is he going to get flash from this? Bolo not able to win his fight. Users might have had all 3 of his cameras hacked. It doesn't matter, he's still got that older NJR. Beautiful flash, but somehow Users doesn't get flashed. He's traded regardless from Nath. BDS just have 2 players up, and both of them are on this top floor. They have seceded control of the ground floor, but Shaiko says, not for long. I'm back and I'm on it, and I'm playing Ring Around the Rosie here. He's sneaking up on Canadian.
They've got no idea. On this back line, he can shut down the entire round here. Just wait 5 more seconds, but there's somebody catching it.
Oh no, he's got him! NJR cannot be touched in this game. And DZ have an adequate response. 3 rounds apiece at the end of the half.
That reaction from NJR saving round 6 for DarkZero. Shaiko had the exact right play. Found a gap bottom metal, rotates through workshop, and he's got it. He's got it right there. But even if he hit the flank right there, NJR had anticipated it in time.
Oh, we've got the double chance going back and forth.
I mean, the DZ fans, I think, definitely feeling emboldened after that half, but this is where Jack's point that he made on the desk could really come to fruition. DarkZero have got the 3-3. They've won those attacking sides. They're a good attacking team at this major, but already in round 1, Canadian is on vigil. No solos on the board, surprisingly, from DZ, but this is where BDS can exploit a flaw in DarkZero's game plan. Canadian goes for these roams and these lurks to gain intel and better his calling. Understandable, reasonable, to each their own. It still means that Canadian might have to fight Shaiko on an entry engagement, and I know who I'm taking there.
Yeah, we've really got little information on how this game is going to pan out because it's dead even, and across the tournament so far, Border has been literally dead even. 23 rounds of attack, 23 rounds of defense, a straight 50-50. So every round is going to have a huge impact, and BDS could have just as much fire on their attack.
I was about to say, look at the lineup we have. Sens, Ying, Glaz, and Deimos as well. Setting up on the Armory side right now. Presumably the ROUs might cut off the angle from Office and Archives to look over towards the Armory breach, be my guess. Then the Glaz to walk in and see if anybody peeks. The Candelas as well, the blind. But what is Shaiko's role in this? That's what I'm curious about.
Well, here come some of those ROUs. Leakerfact dancing around them with the Glaz. He can move as much as he wants and still peer through these Sen screens. But as can Nath as well. The Warden is the perfect counter to this push. And a good early kill from Leakerfact. He made the cross. Now he's going to punch down another smoke to try and peek again. He doesn't know, though. He is fighting against Nath on the Warden.
It's a good look. Leakerfact now goes for the peek, but he walks back. Nath not giving himself away to that angle. The ROU's meant to allow Leakerfact to peek close on Armory and CCTV, and now they've got the control they need, but Nath's still right around the corner.
Shaiko's on the hunt. He has a vendetta to settle here. Sees the player in sight, wants to go for a pre-fire, but looks like Leakerfact is going to find the entry with the DMR. NJR continues his reign of terror. 13 kills thus far, eventually put down by Leakerfact. Sorely needed is BDS to find this numbers advantage, and so they have done. Nath, though, hungry for more. He's shut down. Panda to Panda. He's been red dead. BDS can find the lead again.
These rounds are coming down to such small moments, but everyone in this lobby is making the right moves, thinking 3 steps ahead. It just comes down to who's thinking 4. Pambazoo, again, 2 rounds in a row. We've seen a defender make a very smart flank that could have won the round, But the second the attack is about to be punished, one of them realizes where they are vulnerable and reacts in time. Pamazoo shut down there. I like this idea from BDS as well. They know that the crunch between CCTV and Armory is the main thing stopping them. So they throw the ROU, put LeakyFac in that position, see if anybody gets aggressive, and in that case, Bolo did.
There is a serious rivalry going on in the crowd as well, with the L's coming out from the French as they look over to the DZ corner of the crowd. Nice to see the doc is on watch, on duty here. But if anyone needs a doctor right now, maybe DZ. 1 round behind. And Bolo will pick that operator again. Looks like, for the most part, a change up of the bomb site, but still looking to contest as much of the map as possible, as we expect on border. But guess what? Bride has brought to the table the Blitz. And this could well be our rush.
Yeah, another quick execute, the glass on the window, but maybe to try to bait utility early. They might not commit, so see whether they move or not. They might just try to extract utility from DZ.
2 Candelas, 3 smokes. This doesn't look like a bait to me. It looks like a full send. Newsis is the player to cover. The planter is the Blitz. Good shot from Newsis. NJR shut down. And it looks like DZ are able to convert. Everyone on BDS that tries will find their kill. DZ on the ropes now. 2 players on a retake that is nigh impossible. LeakyFac's got the read. Could it be flawless? Bolo, doesn't matter how many subscribers that man's got, he does not have a leg to stand on.
Look at that. Cold war almost between the Glass and the Warden outside the building and inside of workshop. They both know they are the only players in the lobby that can counter each other, and Newsis wins the fight, and likely by extension the round. The first half was very competitive. This second half, round 7, very competitive as well. But now you've gone down 5-3. This is the good time for a tactical timeout. DarkZero now realizing what BDS are doing. They are playing plant focused. They are getting as little control as they can get away with. If they can just take one room and one room only to get that execute down, they'll do it, and they'll be happy with it, and based on these 2 rounds, they'll win it.
DZ sorely need this tactical timeout to flip the momentum. Despite a historic performance from NJR, these guys are now trailing 2 rounds on their map pick. We always knew that border was a risk to take. I would love to know what Mint has said to the squad to try and prepare them for what could be quite a quick finish to this game if BDS continue their attacking prowess.
It looked so well oiled, this BDS squad attacking border. Very, very clean attacks in these first 2 rounds. Not necessarily in that they've both been flawless, though the second one was. Just making the right moves, DZ keeping it close in round 7, BDS just barely edging ahead. So DZ will move back up to Armory Archives on their first post-tactical timeout defense. And what will BDS do? They went for these very, very minimal direct takes in the first 2 rounds. They will likely rotate to something a bit broader in scope, taking control of either office and courtyard if they want to go for an archives plant, or CCTV and maybe fountain as well, but certainly break room if they want to go for something in armory. It'll be a bit more traditional round, I think, Ben.
That's the way that DZ like to play, though. They are the masters of the methodical. They know a game plan. If you don't throw too many spanners in the works, they usually have a good read, and they are very well drilled. That's the strength of this DZ roster. Not to mention a few upgrades recently in terms of their fragging capability, but you could say the exact same thing for BDS. And quite a contrast if you look at the scoreboards, or NJR far and away leading the charge for DarkZero. And he's got more kills than the entire, or as many kills as the entire rest of the team, if my quick maths is right. Whereas BDS, incredibly well-rounded, and Newsis and Solotov, the new pickup's been so good for them. LeakyFac takes a hell of a lot of damage on that vertical angle. But thankfully, he will get out of dodge just in time.
Past 2 attacking rounds, BDS winning the opening engagement, have been able to convert into their execute very easily afterwards. So DarkZero really looking to get a 5v4 here, have one of these players either inside of Office and Archives or inside of CCTV go big. When DZ have won border dominantly, it has been at the back of, honestly, Pamazoo playing on Office Archives, getting big multi-kills, 0-8 right now. And thankfully for him, I don't think BDS really cares so much about that position. It seems they are moving towards the CCTV clear, but DarkZero holding on. This buck from below hasn't worked out just yet, but Canadian, be careful.
It's a lot of damage. Bolo is in the hot seat right now, feeling a lot of pressure from Leakafak below, who's now watching his retreat and inching towards, but Bolo finds his man, supported by Nafe as well in Armory. Bolo taken extremely low on HP, but still withstands.
Just barely holding on. Shaiko's got the intel, but with how good DarkZero's trading is, they've got one player, Fountain, to watch the CCTV player. They know where BDS are reading their defense is weakest, and they're gonna try to stop this attack in its tracks. Once Shaiko pushes up metal stairs, or if anybody does for that matter.
Oh! Bolo down! I repeat, Bolo is down!
But they've only got 35 seconds, Dev.
Usus is getting aggressive though, he needs to take down that Dread Mine. We need to see more from BDS. Still, East Stairs cameras up, still CCTV in the hands of Canadian.
Breede's over by Armory right now, and Yuzus thinks he has a Gaff Archives, but BDS have no way to get this diffuser down.
Amber finally, the first kill. BDS might have had some form of advantage, but it is slipping away. They will need to frag out, and we know how capable they are. But if Pamba shows up, then perhaps it will be a showdown after all. Brede in a 1v3, and the big Bagnadians coming for it. The final kill for DZ, and an easy cleanup. A tense rounds, but no map point, not yet for BDS.
The crowd a bit higher energy than DZ after that one, in all honesty. DZ recognizing how close that round was, but they were consistently, I think, the favorites to close out that match. I mean, there were so many engagements around border that were so close to going one way or the other. I mean, Bolo, how long was he sitting on that hatch? And how long was Leakafak down below trying to find the slightest pixel of Warden's shoulder to just make it a 4v4? They already had the advantage, DarkZero did. They made BDS fight for everything, and by the time they got that pick, they only had 30 seconds left. So they needed to win that round on kills, and Pamazoo in this position, bobbing and weaving around the rotate, is where he is strongest on this map, and it's where he gets his first 2 picks for DarkZero.
But you can still feel the pressure in those late round situations. BDS are very capable of fragging out, and DZ, you can't help but think there's a chance that they could fumble this round. That's how I felt last round, and I saw it on Mint, their coach's face. After the round was ended, we saw the biggest sigh of relief that DZ was able to convert their tactical timeout. BDS are still just 2 rounds away from stealing DZ's map pick, but DZ have shown that they do have legs on their defense.
They've got legs on their defense. And with how much they've been permabanning Oregon, even if this map were to go down, there's a DarkZero. They might not show up in the server sometimes, but they think things through. They would not have let Oregon get this far, but no, see? This is what I was talking about. This is just for the bait. There's no blitz, there's nobody hopping in the window to follow this up. BDS are hoping that DarkZero, remembering that rush from round 8, will throw out a lot of their utility, and they'll be able to move into the site easier later on. DarkZero don't bite, we still got the C4. Impacts have likely already been used. Nobody really rotates from DarkZero. So that's what I was maybe trying to foreshadow when the blitz was involved, and they just ran inside of the site anyway. But that's the bait I was thinking they could do.
Yeah, but it was very well read by DZ, who didn't really relocate from their positions at all. They didn't give up any ground. BDS, honestly, didn't achieve anything with that bait.
Only costs 1 smoke, and I think 1, maybe 2 Candelas. So there's still a lot of utility they can use, flashbang smokes as well. But those Candelas can be very impactful, and not getting any utility for that, it's one of those things where it's not going to hurt them right now, but it could hurt them later, especially now with both remaining Candelas used.
Oh, and Leakafak's coming in for the backstab, in through Workshop and Vents. Needs to find this kill, but on the other side, NJR, who's having the hottest game we've seen from him in a while, will not give Leakafak any opportunity. Elsewhere, though, BDS begin to fall, not without taking some bodies with them. Still a standstill between Likafak, but eventually NJR goes down and Likafak finds Bolo on the push-up. Naif now in a 1v3, and he will have been heard on that drop. Caught in the crossfire. BDS convert easily in the 3v1. The bait ineffectual, but it doesn't matter because they fire up in the late round. And now they have map point over DZ on border.
Genuinely brilliant Ying usage from BDS that round. Sure, the bait doesn't work out, but then they use the second 2 Candelas in that exact same position, and that time, we see DarkZero look towards the teller's window. They don't throw all their utility, but they've got to respect it. In the mid-round, that could be BDS committing. So Bolo turns around, looks forward. NJR turns around, looks forward. That allows Likafak to move in, and the Chaos allows Shaiko as well to slip through the cracks in Courtyard. They might not have got utility off of those, but adjusting the positions from DZ got BDS match point with that great Phantom Ying usage.
The crowd buff may be real, but I'm still hammering on about the crowd debuff for DZ. The last time we saw them win an international match on a stage was in Charlotte, in the American hometown, in these guys' home major, and that was when they won the whole damn tournament against another North American team, believe it or not. And if they are to win this game, which is not looking likely at the moment, they will need quite a comeback, and they will get another NA opponent with a rematch against Beast Coast. They've already taken down one NA team on the stage yesterday in M80. BDS, though, are not looking to give them any quarter. That is a great start from Shaiko with the Brava hacking that Banshee.
Remember when Pamazu walked into that F-Not mine all the way back on DZ's attacking side? He died because of it. Now that Banshee being gone gives BDS a little more freedom, but they're going back with this Sens Glaz lineup on a different bomb site, Ventilation and Workshop, using the ROUs again to allow Solotov to walk up this balcony and catch if anybody gets aggressive. I think DZ will be ready for it. I hope Naif doesn't get too aggressive, nobody from CCTV gets too aggressive, but this is a very innovative strategy from BDS to try to work a pick early on.
Naif has crossed and exposed himself for a brief moment. He's got the shotgun out, ready and waiting. Solotov marches too close. Naif will be happy to receive him.
He's ready for it.
What's the play, BDS? You gotta make your move. Naif is still just waiting. Look at the patience on this man. BDS are not giving up anything so far, though. They're thinking, there's info! Oh! Naif is gone! BDS have an opening on the top floor.
Only 2 drones left. 3 of you count the clutch drone, and they still got that 5v4. They still take the time to find that intel. 2 more players up top, though. Pamazu makes it even. Trades it out. Damage being dealt either way. BDS spent a long time just to get that one Solus on the top floor, but with that cleared, they've got to hold down these vertical angles because Bride's running into defuse.
Solus down means that they won't have information on this defuse. Bride's gonna do it just amongst the smoke. Good cover from users. NJR is caught out with a C4. He doesn't know the plant's already gone down. Big kill on Shaiko, but a 2v3 on the retake is a very tall order. With Solotov firing up BDS! Europe is 1 map away from having a representative in the grand final of their home major. DZ have a lot to do in the next hour or 2 because BDS are making a statement.
BDS have outshot, outcold, and outlasted DZ on their own pick. I'm worried for DZ going into map 2.
And we'll be able to break that down for you guys on the desk with Milosh.
Thank you very much, Jensen. Yes, we have an entire crowd here that is rooting for BDS, and we got even French flags. Definitely no bias whatsoever here, coming all the way to the UK.
I mean, it's the European crowd. They can have a little bias. I think that's more than fair, and they certainly deserved it after the performance we just saw from BDS. Honestly, fantastic play coming through here on border.
Yeah, they outskilled their opponent, they outcheesed their opponent, they outfought their opponent. And they were just better in literally every aspect. The team play, absolutely everything. It started off with 2 absolutely mega rounds coming out of BDS. Almost flawless in both of them. Sure, fair enough, NJR did pop off with a couple of kills back, but it was just NJR. It wasn't NJR and friends, it wasn't DarkZero. It was just a one-man army at that point, and that's never going to be sustainable over the course of a game.
When DarkZero played their best on border back in the North American League, there was one player that was by far the most important, and that was Pamba. Absolutely absent, especially from the start of this game. Just did not load into the server until way too late. Didn't feel like he was able to have that impact running around the server for DarkZero. We see him, unfortunately, 4-10. He has been their best player on this map historically. The fact that he went quiet today is a big reason why they lost.
I mean, this is a conversation that we heard from our casters in the previous game where you were on Jack with Penguin and Terra, where you get to a spot in the semifinals, everybody on your team has to fire up on all cylinders. If one slips, unfortunately, might be the case here. However, Bride on the other side was not doing too hot either for BDS.
Bride was getting the plants down though. We saw him in that very last round. There's a sign right in front of me actually that says death, taxes, and Bride plant are the 3 inevitable things in life. But yeah, no, I thought BDS were great. I actually thought their use of a weird operator that we don't speak about a lot, the Glass, was excellent.
Yeah,
we saw Solotov use it, we saw users use it. They used a lot of smokes, Ying, Sense to play off the back of that and just really find kills for absolutely free.
And I felt like sometimes, DarkZero, they tried some of those cheesy strategies as well. You said they out-cheesed them. We saw some good stuff, right?
Yep.
We saw the Blitz coming through, which found a lot of success. But more often than not, they would get a plant down, say it was on the bottom bomb site, and they would maybe sneak the plant over for BDS. But the retake was so strong, right? BDS were so good at coming up, coordinating with each other to make sure one guy goes above, one guy gets on the disable, and DZ look absolutely lost trying to counter that.
Outgunned, outplayed, and outstratted. That's BDS that take map number 1. Thank you, Jets. Let us all take a quick break. When we get back, it'll be time for map number 2.
Welcome back to the Blast R6 Manchester Major. We are into our second semi-final. BDS in charge at the moment. We will get to that, but I'm standing with some very special members of our Siege community right now. To my left, we have the one and only Tom J. Sherlock in the building. Tom, I'll come back to you, but say hello, will you? People love you here.
Up the BDS, baby!
And to my right, looking absolutely phenomenal as his army, we have Mika. Mika, we've got your translator Abigail to your right, but how are you?
I'm so good, so exciting. Yeah.
So exciting, and we are very excited to have you here. Abigail, just translate this for me. Of course, the great things about these international events is we have people coming from all over the world. I'd like to ask, how far have you traveled? When did you arrive? And yeah, how much are you enjoying Manchester? That's a lot.
どれぐらい飛行機が長かったのか、どんな旅をしてきたのか、マンチェスター楽しんでますか？
飛行機は20時間乗ってきました。でもこの大会に来られるということが本当に楽しみで、もうそんな疲れなんて1ミリもありません。もうマンチェスター最高です。
Well, I fly 20 hours to be here, but honestly, just having the opportunity to be here, it just made me forget about all of those 20 hours. I am so excited to be here. Manchester is great.
20 hours, give it up for Mika! Woo! Manchester loves Mika. Right, Tom, before I let you guys go and we go over to the desk, you are the king of a chant. Do you have a PG-13 chant that you can teach us all here?
Yeah, I do. Shall I go with it?
Let's do it.
Looking back on when we first met, I cannot escape and I cannot forget.
Tell them!
Use this, you're the one. You still turn me on. The Major's coming home again. I'm the BDS, baby!
To Abigail, to Mika, and to Tom J. Sherlock, enjoy the rest of the Major. You're amazing. Over back to Milos on the desk.
Thank you very much, Ian, you wonderful, wonderful man. And of course, thanks to everybody here who's cheering on. We got incredible guests here at the Manchester Major. And we're all part of this one big family. Though, even a family has to feud every now and then, and we're getting ready for game number 2 between DarkZero and BDS. Welcome back to the desk. Milos with me are Mr. Jesse and Mr. Fresh. Let's have a chat about this, because DarkZero, they're looking to take it back and bring it to Consulate, but they've been outplayed from everything we've seen in map 1.
They have, and they're not going to an easy battlefield here, Jack. This is DarkZero's worst map. They've been permabanning it for months. They don't play Oregon. It's a map that they struggled on all the way back in Stage 2 last year, and we really have seen them struggle to even bring it back into their map pool over recent months. So this is the real test. How much have DarkZero been working on it in the recent past, and how much have they brought to the table?
One of the things that I love about Best of Threes and just tournament, bracket Siege in general, is the methodology behind map bans, because you can either pick a map that's strong for you or a map that's weak for your opponent. I wouldn't say BDS are like amazing on Oregon, but if DarkZero permaban it and don't want to play it, I can see why they've gone into it. Like I said, BDS have lost it a couple of times. They didn't look good. They didn't look synergized when they've played it throughout the phase 2 of this tournament, but they have generally got over the line of it. But they nearly lost it to CAG, and they did lose it to PSG Talon. So it's a bit more in the balance than maybe the preferences suggest.
If I may be annoying for just a moment, put you on the spot, who do you think can take this?
I think they've got the pressure now. I think they've got the foot on the throat of BDS. I think BDS will win this.
Jesse?
I expect BDS to honestly win this 2-0, but I will say if DarkZero can somehow muster up a win on Oregon, I think they've got the momentum. They can pull it back all the way.
Is this you turning your coat on your region? You're predicting the European team, Jesse.
Listen, they're playing so well, Jack. I don't know what else I can do.
Jets, before this devolves into a fist fight, Manchester, let's get ready. Map number 2 is all set up. Our casters are ready, and we toss it back all the way to them.
My, Europe. It's been a while since you guys have raised a trophy, but the same can be said for North America. Last time NA did so, it was DZ in an All-American Grand Final back in Charlotte, but now it feels like Europe's moment.
It does. With the way BDS are performing, Beast Ghost have got the story, right? They've got the excitement, they've got the energy. But BDS right now, they've got the team. We have been predicting that this team would be in this grand final tomorrow. The moment the leaks came out, not even when BDS announced the changes, when it was rumored that Usus and Solotov were replacing Renshiro and Alems, people said, oh, this is going to be one of the greatest teams of all time. This team does not have a weakness. And shockingly, even though they won the EU stage, they have looked surprisingly weak. Good, but with weaknesses. And on this map we have coming up, Oregon, there is genuinely a world where Cyclops Osaka knocks BDS out of the tournament 8-7 on this map, and we have a different series in front of us.
In the parallel universe, BDS weren't even here when they were pushed so close by the Japanese, but now they are making a statement on the main stage. They are one map away from a grand final. We haven't seen them in a grand final since they won in Sweden at the Jönköping Major about a year and a half ago.
Right after they made another very good roster change, bringing on Licky Fack. Now we've got two here. And the trophy might just be guaranteed.
Oh, 5 years, these guys were a French team, and yes, a European team, but any team that is French is first and foremost a French team. But now they've brought on a Turk, they've brought on an Englishman, and they are ready to bring a trophy home. First, they must get there. They have not yet earned their spot in the grand final, and BDS will need every ounce of energy that the crowd here in Manchester can give them. Up against DarkZero, who have quite a task ahead of them to make a comeback on Oregon. This is Europe versus North America. BDS, are you ready for this?
I'm sure they will. This has not been an easy map for BDS, despite their comfort on it. As Jack mentioned, it has at times looked very shaky for BDS, especially against Cyclops. Licky Fack went from SSG the day before, sprinting around the map, shooting people in the head, to looking...
He's having a laugh right now at the Glaz ban as well.
I've actually just looked at the ban. They've actually banned Glaz.
Fear or respect, says Solotov. Fear or respect. Bit of fear, he says. And the second ban that comes out is perhaps one of fear as well with that Montaigne.
You have negative mentality.
I love this. There's banter, and we know it, right? Usus, Solotov, and Nave were tight teammates on that M&M roster. When that team broke up, so many people were heartbroken, but these stars found themselves a very worthy home on BDS and on DarkZero. I even heard that Usus and Nave have been housemates for the last 2 months as well. What an awkward trip to the bathroom that would be when you're brushing your teeth. Next time they go back home, if they, well, we know for sure one of them will survive in this tournament, the other will be knocked out.
One goes up to the other like, not only did you not fill up the water pitcher, you also beat me in the semifinal. Could you not give me something? Could make for a very awkward conversation, as you just mentioned, but BDS now up 1-0, going on to their map pick. As I mentioned earlier, this map, despite their comfort, has looked very shaky at times. And with this ban phase, something we need to mention, something I have to bring up. For the first time, I think, in, what, 6, 7, 8 months, DZ have not banned Dokkaebi and Azami. In a DarkZero matchup, Dokkaebi will be on the board. And it seems that BDS will make use of this operator immediately. And I have to say, even if he doesn't play it, leaving Dokkaebi up when Usus is on the other team, one of the best lurkers we've seen in Manchester, it's a little bit of a risk. It's a little bit of a risk. And then you've got Licky Fack as well, who can use that SMG-12.
Well, for DarkZero, there are a lot of firsts. The first time we have seen Oregon from them since all the way back in the Atlanta Major when they only just beat Fury 8-7. It's been out of their map pool, their most banned map ever since. And now BDS, after winning DZ's map pick, have taken us to Oregon as the second. DZ have been working on this in the shadows. And this is the first time that we will see it played in a very long time.
It's a map that rewards structured teams, but it does lower the skill ceiling because of how Well trod it is. Ooh, Pambazoo.
Pamba doesn't get flashed there, but Leakafact does not overextend. Cautious as ever is BDS, which is great. Not going to succeed an early pick BDS. Now, with Shaiko moving down the freezer stairs, look to inch their way towards the bomb site and start to drown out some of this utility. A great nade as well will clear a lot of those Vulcan canisters.
And this is what so many basement attacks come down to if you want to at least have a chance at winning this on the attacking side. How much utility can you clear? Can you get the magnets? Can you get the F-Knots? Can you get the Vulcan packs? And then afterwards, depending on which side you push. For example, if you're going front side, can you push the Warden out from behind laundry? Or in this case, the Goyo out from behind laundry? If you're going E-Box side, can you push the guy out a pillar and clear out bunker? Once you clear that utility, you need to push usually 2 players out of key positions to get you a foothold on that bottom floor. Because your only options are walking down a couple staircases, maybe a double door, maybe a hatch, and that's it. BDS have made a decent bit of progress. They are setting up for a front side take and likely trying to insert Leakyfac on the back side once BDS start focusing on the front.
Leakafac's just biding his time before he goes for this logic bomb. Oh, long angle from Shaiko, but he can get it done with a holo. In come the flashes, the Grimm's Bees as well. And the first kill is for Canadian. Leakafac shut down as he tries to drop the hatch, but he sneaks his way up. The Brit on the forefront, the tip of the spear for BDS as they do find these picks. It's up to Big Bad Nadine to NJR through his stellar performance on the first map, which was not enough for DZ. He will have to come through, but Bride is forcing this plant down. With that diffuser on the ground, DZ forced to retake. Shaiko to cover for one. NJR popped off on border, and in Oregon he finds nothing. Great opener from BDS.
Outstanding opener from BDS. Outstanding basement attack. They clear out that utility very early on, burn the Goyo packs and the Dread Mines in freezer, clear out the front side utility. At that point, you know they're going for a front take, and I think DZ recognized that as well. You can't just... Basement's a hard side to attack. It's even harder to rotate on with very low time and limited utility. And honestly, when DarkZero get Leakyfac on the backside, I'm thinking they've got a good shot at this. But Shaiko's able to walk down freezer, Yuzu's able to walk up front side, and they win the necessary fights. And ultimately, that's a lot of what basement attacks come down to. Can you win the fights? And Yuzus almost won 2, but Shaiko also winning the necessary fights.
A lot of energy for BDS. You can see the tension is ramping up.
That as well. You can't just... Basement's a hard side to attack. It's even harder to rotate.
That's a great point, Carter. Basement is a hard side to attack. That guy knows what he's talking about.
That guy. Can I hear? Can we tune out the crowd? Can we hear more of that guy?
I'm standing right next to you. I have to hear you twice.
Can I pipe? Actually, I guess I technically do have my own audio piped into my ear.
You do? I can turn that up for you if you want.
I'll just turn it off for me.
I wish I could do that in real life sometimes, Carter.
All right, that was uncalled for. That was a bit much.
Look, NA's had enough dubs today. I need to knock you down a notch.
Yeah, how's Bliss doing?
Mate, don't kick a man while he's down.
I love Bliss. I love those guys. And I'm glad Beast Coast are in the finals. And will we have an all-NA matchup? Well, I'm going to be honest right now. After that strong first round from BDS, it's looking more uncertain. Solotov with the rare, actually not the rare, the unfortunately common self-flash inside of Rainbow Six. Oh! Canadian shut down early by Leakyfac up front. DarkZero trying basement again. And Canadian either caught out roaming or something, I'm not sure, but there's another player even further extended all the way up on that top floor, and he's got no way back.
Oh, Leakyfac, good shutdown, another one perhaps.
It's a 4v2.
DZ threw bodies at the problem and themselves got bodied. NJR looking to try and cover and perhaps go for a very risky revive here, but Leakyfac has flashed him into oblivion. And BDS want to make sure that they do not allow Bowler to get back on his feet, but baited there. Nath uses him to his advantage. Bowler might have gone down, but he was already on the ground regardless. And DZ perhaps winnable now in the 2v3.
Crazy, he burns all the Candelas to confirm that down player. But 3v2 realized.
Oh, good angle.
Oh, very good angle. The Brit certainly feeling comfortable in front of his home crowd, and now BDS in a difficult position. Leaky Fact burning all those Candelas to confirm the downed player, and now you've lost the man advantage. Brede still has all that Capital utility, the fire bolts to fire off Long Haul and Laundry, the smoke bolts to cover the angle inside of the small closet. And there's only one toxic canister from NJR remaining. DarkZero are a bit low on utility, and BDS might have the edge here.
Fire goes out, but Nath manages to steal his nerve and sneak on through. He gets the info! Triple kill on the round for Nath, who's cheering for the homeboy, because everyone in the crowd has seemingly been cheering for BDS, but it's a Frenchman now going deep into the site. NJR dodging around the corner. 4 kills for Nath. The reply that DZ have been searching for comes up big for Nathan.
Just a little 2v4 action from DarkZero to get their first basement defense over the line. I hope they're not saying that to Nath.
I do wonder. Obviously, we have a Brit on either team. We've got Nath and we've got users for BDS. It's clear that the European crowd is cheering for the European squad, but do they have a preference between the two Brits, I wonder? Nath, I guess some could consider the villain for vacating Europe and going over to North America, but he certainly knows how to play the crowd, that's for sure.
And very content with that play, I think. As I said, I think BDS had the edge in utility, but as we saw, just a little bit of intel left up in Freezer allows Nath to take an informed swing, watching those feet holes, making a very winnable round for DarkZero. Still came very close. DarkZero tried to roam, and BDS shut that down immediately. They win a second attack here on Dorms. As always on Oregon, we start entering dangerous waters and dangerous territory. But a lot of BDS's problems in that Cyclops game were on their defensive side.
And we can all acknowledge that the biggest problem for BDS in that CAG game was that they were absolutely chalked. And we've seen BDS in extremely high spirits today.
Curious who they're talking about.
Nath on the clash here is a great operator to stall out time in this position, especially with that deployable shield facing the top of Armory stairs. Does reduce the options here for BDS, but they are problem solvers.
Very much so.
Oh, aggressive. Oh, but it gets a bait kill for Bolo. Feeling a lot of pressure from the Grimm's Bees at the top of the Armory stairs, but he still can support his teammate. Solotov looking to try and support. Bolo caught. Hell in a cell position for him. With the revolver out, he will stand his ground, and Pamba's taking out League Effect. DZ holding their ground. Finally, Solotov finds it down, but it's not enough yet. And Nadian joins the fight. Bolo still has not been moved. Eventually, the down comes through. The clash still keeps him at bay. 2 players for DZ are on the floors. The first is finished off. BDS have a lot more work to do, and the Turks gonna have to go huge.
Especially with this utility, so many players all around this attic position at the moment. Both players spotted, but the res can be made successfully.
Oh! Not another one for Solotov. Information from the Bees. It goes deep. Shotgun in hands. Oh my God! Oh my God!
You've got to be shitting me! With the bailiff? One of the worst guns in the game!
Solotov is a menace! There's no world! He should have won that! There's no right for BDS to have taken that round! The DZ have been slapped silly!
He's aced him! He's 2v4'd by himself! We were worried about BDS losing the mental game. How the hell do you come back from that? A Turks just danced on you with a gun that's supposed to make rotates and vertical.
There was the first kill. There was number 2. Third, the Malusi rotating out, sprinting in. There was a moment when he saw the clash, he knew he could take this fight, and the fact that he got the final one, an ace for the ages from Solotov. A star player joining a star-studded roster. It certainly means you have to keep up with your competitors, and let's be real, it's been more so the leak effect, the Shaiko and the users show for BDS so far. Solotov has reminded us just what he is capable of.
It's weird, a lot of people predicting Solotov to be one of the biggest performers on this roster coming into BDS, and frankly, I mean, BDS statistically, obviously the weakest, but he's on the hard support. Solotov has not been slacking, but I think people were expecting a bit more out of him this stage, definitely seeming a bit weaker in comparison to the rest of the team. But this tournament, he has slowly started regaining that Eminem form that he had when he was teaming with Uzus, teaming with Nate. Able to make plays like that, maybe not as ridiculous as that, but still impress and hang with Leaky Fact, Shaiko, and Uzus. Now on to the tertiary site. He's back in action. Just a 1v1 with Canadian up top. SMG-11 in hand. And I'm curious if DarkZero are starting to regret leaving that Dokkaebi on the board.
I don't care how many hammers you've raised. When Solotov's running amok on you, you better just sit down. BDS have built up some form on their attacking side, no less, on Oregon. You said it multiple times, Carter. We all heard it. Oregon basement's a hard one to attack. BDS have already won it. They forced DZ onto this tertiary site by rattling them on dorms as well. BDS have built that momentum. They found their form, and they are taking no second chances against DZ.
Polo honestly in need of second chances right now. This Mute Jammer doing so much heavy lifting as there are 3 to 4 BDS clearers, all trying to hunt down this Lesion.
Solotov looks the wrong way. Does he not know? Bolo's Mute Jammer may have saved him from the drone. It may have saved him from the Logic Bomb. So he bides his time, so he waits. Multiple players within touching distance as C4 goes out. Pamba finds nothing with it. There's the first for Bolo. Solotov is down! Oh, Bolo! He will not let up! The Dorms is his to manifest a win for DZ. BDS on the ropes once again, but we've seen 2v4s before. Pamba shuts him down. Goodbye, Shaiko. Leak effect. There's DZ for you. What a response.
Bolo's 4K unfortunately not rewarded with goodwill from the crowd. 4K, not as good as an ace with the Bailiff.
Still pretty damn impressive.
Very much so. Able to sit on that Mute Jammer after Canadian dies early on. And unfortunately, BDS a little too complacent on that clear. To be fair, DarkZero made it hard for them, had that Mute Jammer up top. But you still gotta be diligent, still gotta be careful, and unfortunately, BDS assume. You know what they say about assuming? Don't do it.
But DZ have found a little bit of fire. If after the Solotov ace they had been put down without a fight, I would have been hella worried for them, Carter. But maybe NA have another chance yet.
10 seconds to go.
Oh, Beast Coast, who do they want to play in the grand final? I wonder. I certainly know who I want to see. No bias, but BDS for Europe versus Beast Coast in the grand final is something that I think everyone in the crowd here wants, and DZ is certainly playing the villain at the moment, trying to fight that storyline.
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I think Manchester would love an all-American grand final on British soil.
You speak as an American.
Yeah, listen, I think a full NA versus NA grand final, I think Manchester would love it.
I'm going to press X to doubt on that one, Carter.
They're actually just booing that Canadian fell back out of Big Tower that quickly.
Yeah, you're on the copium right now, and I don't blame you. NA, it's been a hell of a long time since they've had teams in the grand final. The same can be said for Europe.
Am I on copium when Gunner's in the grand final? I don't know how I could be.
Look, for a year straight, every single grand final has been Brazil versus Brazil. Finally, we have NA and EU with a shot. And Solotov repping his region. It'll be the first time we'd seen a Turk in the grand final of a major. if he's able to continue this form. He's shown no signs of slowing down, opening kill 2 rounds in a row.
And I gotta say, I understand, banning the glass, reducing BDS's ability to go with some of those cheekier strats they like on Border, on Oregon, but they are so good at using this Dokkaebi. They are so good at not using the logic bombs for full clears, but for enabling individual plays from Solotov, from Uzis. And BDS have used it to great effect in rounds they've won or lost. And now when you need to go for that utility clear, that we saw in round 1, BDS can clear out the utility on site very well. Use these Rotero drones to burn the barbed wire, destroy the barbed wire, burn the Vulcan packs. That Rotero actually will miss by a little bit. But also deal with the F-Not mines, the Dread mines, burn out those smoke canisters early on. It was BDS's strength in that first round. And as they're gearing up for a back-sided take, LickyFac is trying to find a gap once again on the opposite side of the execute.
There is indecision, though, from BDS. Look at them going back and forth. Unsure where this execute will come through. It'll hinge on the flash as we still have 8 available for BDS. EMPs as well, but where is LickyFac going to backstab?
He wants to try to backstab through Freezer while the entire defense is focused on the front side with the Grim utility and the flashbangs. He walks in and hits a flank.
Go the bees. Canadian managed to dodge some flashes, dodge the bees. Down goes a drop, and, well, okay. BDS caught off guard. They didn't think about Nadian here, hiding inside of blue bunker. Bit of damage from the shotgun. Second one! Another pump for him! Shaiko 1v2. It's so winnable. So winnable for him. Round of the corner, bees, information. Nadian down. Another one for Shaiko. It's all he needs.
He's got no utility to stop this plant. He's got to swing.
The Brit against the Frenchman. Shaiko pushing for it. Nafe is there, but he's been put down. Spam the fours, because Shaiko is all for it.
They've got the 3-3. They've won basement twice. They don't care if they're only winning most of these attacks off of hero plays and clutches. It's just one map. You can get by on it. We know how strong their defenses are. We just saw it on Border. And they could be problematic like previous Oregons. But BDS have the one thing that DZ, in my opinion, have always struggled to have. Hero moments. We can have big clutches, Pambazoo can pop off, but DZ are a system team. Whereas BDS with the freedom, the star power on this roster can will rounds over the line. And it's given them a tie game as we go into round 6.
I mean, there's even a world here where they can win this half outright 4-2, Carter. DarkZero, one thing that I know for sure about this team, you're saying they're a system team? I think they are a team that relies on the crowd, because every time we see the crowd against them, they seem to lose. Yesterday, they had it on their side against M80, an All-American matchup, and the crowd didn't want to cheer for the Brazilian players on M80. In Brazil, DZ shat the bed. They could not cope with the crowd against them. And now, well, you heard the chants, the British crowd wants to send the Americans home.
And based on what BDS have set up for, this could be a play to really get the momentum fully on their side to silence the doubters. Grim and Amaru on the board, flashbangs already going out. Where is LickyFac going to go? Could go up the dorms hatch, maybe go in through the dorms window. That's my immediate first couple guesses. Then off the back of the Dokkaebi call and the Grim Bees have full utility take these fights. But remember how long Bolo persevered in Trophy before. He's the first pick. Shaiko's already got him shut down. DarkZero can't play as aggressive here.
It forces Pamba to replace his position. At least there's something for the defense. And Solotov, the killer machine himself, has been put down. DarkZero still have solid positions, but Pambazoo is not the Lamai. He cannot support himself. And LickyFac's here on Rappel. He's being baited. He's been shut down by Pamba. And maybe there is a chance here for DZ to tie the half.
Air jab goes out to stop the clash from retaking. Aruni Gate reactivated. First air jab burned, but NJR's holding on. DZ not playing aggressive, holding these passive angles, and BDS are walking into him.
We saw them win a 2v4 before, and there's one kill for DZ, putting this into a 1v4 for Port Bride. DZ tie the half. There may be boos, but I heard cheers amongst it as well. DZ have a few in their corner, and they found a third round on BDS's pick. Keep themselves alive.
And this is where that DarkZero strategy, perma-banning this map for the better part of 6 to 7 months. Barely even thinking about floating it in a best of 1 or a best of 3. This is where we need to see them outthink BDS. What attacks are they going to go for? How are they going to surprise BDS? This is Oregon. Not exactly a hotbed of innovation in the comp map pool, Dev.
There's only so many things you can do to surprise your opponents, but teasing out a blitz is one of them. As we see the big bad Canadian himself get onto the shield. With the Monty banned by BDS, DZ's options are limited. With DZ themselves banning Glaz, their options are limited further. And he's actually going to get off that blitz and pick an operator that we very rarely see unbanned between these teams, the Dokkaebi.
This is what I'm most curious about. How well will DZ be able to play off this Dokkaebi? And I'm curious how Canadian will decide to play her. Because I mentioned that a lot of players will pick Dokkaebi and of course use the logic bomb to help the team, but also to fuel their individual play. Yuzu, Solotov, whoever trying to walk down a staircase, flank up a hallway. Is Canadian going to do that, or is he going to use the logic bombs in a bit more of a supportive role to try to set up players like Pamazu with those deathmark trackers as well to try and utilize picks? The presence of the Deimos and the Dokkaebi, though, on the cards for DarkZero indicates they have a very good setup. It could very easily go for a roam clear if they want. And BDS tend to be very aggressive on this map, especially, I was about to say, players like LickyFack. Oh, hello.
There's a lurk and a half. Is anybody ready for this? Is there anybody watching Laundry? Bride tempts fate.
He has to win this fight.
He needs to survive here, and he does. He gets Nadian. Oh, double! Shut down a DZ. As they push the side, everyone falls, and they find something. NJR has not had the performance we saw on Border here on Oregon. He's been read, he's being watched. BDS just need to lock out a 4v2, the most defender-sided site in the game.
And they certainly should be able to. Nafe stuck on E-Box Hatch, NJR outside the door where they know Diffuser a world away. How are DarkZero getting out of this one?
NJR will need to find a few big kills. He checks every corner. Okay, there's users putting everyone down for DZ. BDS, a very convincing round for them. Never a moment in doubt on the basement of their defense. And they have a very strong start to this half.
And that round probably coming from something extremely simple. Hey, either a Dokkaebi call's gone off or a launch or main lobby cam's been shot. Could they be rushing?
Good reads.
Could we just, hey Bride, you're on site. Why don't you just check front side? See
and
if
then
DarkZero
kill
rushing.
two of them if you can.
And then, yeah, kill two of them if you can. But it's just good awareness from BDS saying, hey, a couple different factors, logic bomb going off, maybe the default cam and main lobby being inactive. Make sure you check front side, see if anybody's pushing that way, because we're roaming backside and don't see anything. He checks, it pays off. DarkZero try to regain the momentum with a quick take and completely put to bed.
So the guy in the SSG jersey is going for BDS. Send him home, hey? We've heard that chant begin near the end of every single match we've had here on the main stage. And every single time you hear that chant, it's as if the Grim Reaper is rearing his ugly head. It's come for major champions, it's come for world champions. Could it come for DZ?
Could certainly come. If BDS win this series, could come for Beast Coast for the first time this major tomorrow. DZ win, I imagine they'll probably be the recipients of the send 'em home chance 2 matches in a row. BDS, after winning that laundry defense handedly, will go to dorms. Where's LickyFack on this Solus? That is my #1 question. There he is. over in Big Tower. Calling, by the way, ooh, Deathmark failed. I believe is that because
he's standing near the mute jammer.
Mute jammer on the opposite side of the wall.
Nice, very handy there from Likafak.
The big thing about this position from Likafak too, he can call that DarkZero aren't going for an addict take right now, that they aren't pushing that side, which allows BDS very early on to remove their utility to deal with a big window white take. See, Bolo's already pushed up, but he's only half clearing. He's not trying to go for this control. But with Likafak by himself, will he still go for the fight nonetheless?
Bomb located by attackers.
Is there a read here? Bolo, ooh, Likafak falls back at the perfect moment. He can clear the death mark as well with that same mute jammer. Canadians on for the flank. Likafak's about to be in a world of hurt.
And this wall's full reinforced. Likafak is stuck here with Canadian down below. He could very well be pinched unless DarkZero have found a gap in sight with Pamba getting that kill on Solotov. They might have found it.
They've silenced the man on 10 kills. Pamba goes in for more, but there is a trade. A good crossfire as Usis and Brede are able to cover. BDS, they're feeling a lot of pressure from below. Bolo! Shut down by Shaiko. Here with the warding glass, he's the perfect operator for this position.
And now the Solas can rotate down below in this 4v3. Bolo's had to give it up. He's got to rotate with the take and leak. There's nobody to stop Likafak from playing below.
DZ are in very dire straits here. They need to find this player below. They need to have an inkling on site. And it's Nath to go hunting. Nadian finds Likafak, but not without falling himself. A lot of time on the board. If he is to be picked up, it's going to waste some for DZ. Nath goes for that rotate. Less than 30 seconds remain. BDS just have to wait for DZ.
Have to wait for DZ, but no Bs, no Deathmark trackers, no Dokkaebi call. They've got no intel for this 3v3.
And Brede's in the perfect off angle. He's got the position. DZ have to walk into a three-way crossfire, and the Frenchman is waiting. A bit of a pre-fire. He finds the first, doubles down for another. NJR, V3, DZ may be on the verge of being sent home. Oh my God! 2 kills. It doesn't matter as a timer will be victorious for BDS. The Europeans have built up some serious momentum. This train is chugging away, and DZ are asleep.
Got to be awake for this tactical timeout, though. DarkZero, as they try to regroup and retool. Chance of your shit in their comms.
As they try to listen to their coach, help them get through this. DZ's tactical timeout didn't mean a lot for them in the first map.
Taken at the same scoreline, if I recall. No, it's 2-1.
Yeah, it was very early on.
Very early.
But BDS now are 2 rounds ahead and just 2 rounds away from putting this series to bed. DZ are feeling that pressure. They had some unbelievable rounds on Border, and they've had some pretty damn good ones here on Oregon as well. They have been pushed to their limits. And imagine a world where DZ make it to the grand final against Beast Coast. They would be the favorites going in, no doubt about it. But are they even going to reach that grand final? It's feeling nigh impossible. This is a team that has been to main stage events, international events, time and time again. This is Canadians' 15th time playing on the main stage. But they weren't able to make it past the top 8 at Atlanta. They weren't able to make it past their first main stage game in SI. DZ need to keep pushing. There's no second chances when you're on the verge of elimination.
Their lifeline could be this meeting attack right here. Canadians sticking the blitz. Remember how quick those attempts to get into the site on Border were when Canadian was picking this operator. On meeting in particular, we don't really have the, the stereotypical OSA to allow for the easy hold and attic or on top of meeting. Only hard breacher being the ace, no thermite, another traditional operator brought for that meeting plant. So DarkZero could still plant that diffuser there, don't get me wrong. But I think they're going to try to be a bit more flexible with this, see where the gap is. Bolo on the opposite side on front at the moment. Still 2 Dokkaebi calls, but 1 going through. How are DarkZero taking this?
They've got a good breach here, thanks to Nafe, who's now on the lurk, so he's done his job. He can just look for someone playing downstairs. Very common to have people in that position. Or Brede might get caught out. If he peeks again with a shotgun into a long angle, Nafe is going to come and help pinch out.
That's what they're trying to do. The blitz is going to pinch out the player on the backside with Nafe down below to force him back. Only concern, Canadian with the diffuser. If he goes down, DarkZero in a tricky spot.
Canadian has to make this entry, but he falls, and he is that one with the diffuser. Nafe misses his shot as well. A drop now down electrical, but Shaiko has been read by Nafe. At least something there for DarkZero, but not near enough, especially with that diffuser on the ground, thanks to Canadian.
That's why that gamble doesn't pay off. Brede even going upstairs now to cause DarkZero more concern, but Pambazu's found Usus.
Perhaps this meeting attack could be the lifeline. Brede's still alive. He's been phenomenal on Orican. An immovable object, an anchor, but Nafe has ripped out Solotov from on the bomb site. Leakafak looks for a trade. Brede's rotated back up to Attic. And that does mean he can cover both of these bomb sites vertically.
This is a bit risky, though. They've seeded control the diffuser, and with no toxic canisters, the only form of plant denial is this C4. And Leakafak's still being pressured by Nafe on this side. He's effectively cut off until he takes this fight. I think by giving up that position, it's a risky gamble either way, but DZ, somehow they've let Leakafak slip through, but not enough.
Well, he's got the cover there, thankfully, for DarkZero. Brede 1v4. With plenty of time for DZ to shape up for this plan. Pambazu to start forcing it down. Is he in a safe position from Brede? It looks to be so. All the way at the back of meeting. And this is a tall task, a very impossible order for BDS. DarkZero took their tactical timeout. And they've made good on that promise. They have delivered. Only 1 round behind BDS and still on their attack.
But it came close. It required, if Pambazu does not get that kill there, whole different ball game, whole different situation. Because diffuser in Canadian's hands dropped after he's taken down by Brede, and BDS have control of it for the entirety of the mid-round. So Brede rotates upstairs, rechanges position, forces DarkZero to clear him. But once they go in the 2v4, he's in a bit of a difficult spot, but he decides to fall back, and that gives DarkZero the way back in. Good play from Nafe overall as well, obviously cutting off anybody trying to rotate down that hatch. Maybe Shaiko getting a little too aggressive, trying to retake down below. But DZ needed a lifeline. They needed a bit of momentum. They've got it. You just got to go to basement now.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? BDS went back-to-back on the 2 primary bomb sites on this map, and both were quite convincing. DZ, they can't afford to lose this basement attack, otherwise it would be serious point against them, and you just know how electric the crowd would be if that happened to support a European team here on European soil. DarkZero have been on the ropes for what seems like this whole series, and yet they turn to the blitz again as the solution. Was not the answer last round. There's no two ways about it.
It's been a very imperfect solution, unfortunately, for DZ so far on Border and Oregon. Canadians been picked off quite a few times, that round being no exception, and DZ needed to recover the round instead of setting the pace early on and just fulfilling it to its planned extent, or its planned pace. Emma going for the lurk, though. Different solution to this backstairs problem, but is the Fender ready for it? Dreadmine placed, he certainly is, but Canadian's in sight.
How much does he push forward? Does he get over ambitious? He flashes the Warden, and it looks like DarkZero, well, they have taken some sight. They're not looking too comfortable with it. Nafe needs the support. Canadian's got the diffuser inside the bomb site. His teammates are not anywhere to support him. Shaiko has inched his way back into one of the plant spots, and Canadian can force that plant down. Shaiko needs to win this fight. He does! Canadian can get the plant, but Shaiko's got him dead to rights! Nafe against 4, and he finds the first. Users picked up again. Against 2 of his former teammates, Nafe must stand tall and cover this diffuser. DMR in the long angle, the first one for him. Goodbye, Solotov. Uses his low HP. How did BDS play this? They must regroup. Nath, oh, it's a long angle! The C4 ineffectual, but uses against his best mates! Clutches the defuse! BDS! 1 round from the grand final!
When you got it, you can't turn it off. BDS, they've got it. They've got that one thing that makes them different. The star power, the hero potential. It can come in kills, it can come on long arm diffuses. But BDS are that team in 1 million right now that are just a little bit better. Pamba gets that first pick on Brede, but remember, Canadian has run so far ahead. The only player that can directly support him is Nath in Freezer. NJR's dealing with Shaiko.
Look at this angle.
I know. Through the
so
wall.
well played. He tucked into closet, he opened up a hole with the shotgun, and all his teammates needed to do was cover the defuse. There's no doubt that 2023 was the most tumultuous year for BDS. They won a major to cap off 2022, and then it was a year of struggles, failing to qualify for Copenhagen, only getting top 8 at the Atlanta major, getting knocked out, embarrassed by G2, and as a result, failing to qualify for 6 Invitational. For the first time in 5 years, BDS dumped 2 of their French players and switched to English. And here they are on the verge of making a return to a grand final.
Falling back on old reliable, Licky in small tower. Pamba's got to be ready for this. He peeks ahead of the nade. Does he know? He falls off.
Has got to read, but oh!
The timing!
Caught with a scanner. Spells the death of Licky. Good early ambition from Pamba. He commits to the swing, he gets the kill. Straight back out and looking to clear util on the white stairs. DarkZero have an advantage.
And remember how problematic this Solus was on the Dorm's defense last time. DZ had to go on a side quest with a minute left just to find Solus by the end of it. Shaiko cuts down NJR. 4v4 now. DZ want to go big window and wipe, but Pamba's in the sight.
Oh, Pamba! 2 kills for him on the round, but BDS reply. Leaving it all up to the man himself. Bolo against the crowd and against 3 from BDS to try and fight for survival for DZ. But BDS have been waiting a very long time for this moment. All they have to do is wait a few seconds longer. Bolo desperate, down below. The skeleton key will net him nothing as BDS don't give him any opportunity back into this game. He must commit. The Dread Mine keeps him at bay for another moment. A flash, another shot onto the Dread Mine. Still nobody from BDS as they steal their nerve. They must swing together as a team. They have only been a team for 2 months, but they're about to make their debut as this roster on the main stage. It seems like the drought in Europe may well be over. 1 for Bolo, the first of 3, and still time to play. Looking for a second, he has to bait out the shots! For the first time since they were champions in Sweden, the boys of BDS are back, baby! Back for a major grand final!
There were 3 tournament favorites. FaZe, Furia, and BDS. 2 are gone, and 1 remains to take a trophy that they have been promised since the start of this stage. Only Beast Coast stand in their way, and BDS are in tournament winning form.
What a feeling it must be after a year of turmoil, after challenges and tribulations, failing to play play on the main stage in Brazil, failing to even qualify for Sao Paulo. They went into reconciliation. They looked to revamp their roster, and what a treat it was. Such a risk after 5 years to bring on English-speaking players, but when talent like Users and Solotov are available, you have to take that risk.
And going into this stage, bringing that new roster, this is some of the best form this roster has ever been in. For DarkZero as well, making 2 changes. The first time they've made it past a quarterfinal at a main event in years. They can be proud with this result.
And it's heartbreak for Nath, but for BDS, their first shot in a year and a half at raising that trophy as we go to Ligafac and Ian on stage.
Can I hear it, please, Manchester, for Team BDS? Commiserations to DarkZero. BDS will join Beast Coast in our grand final tomorrow, and I am standing by here with Ligafac. Everything seems to be going right for you guys at the moment. It is all clicking. How are you feeling being among such incredible momentum?
Feeling so happy about my team. We work a lot to be there. It's since 5 months. So yeah, finally a major final, and we'll do our best.
Do you feel unstoppable at the moment?
I mean, we work for this. So for now, I'm proud that first major we did final. Unstoppable, we'll see tomorrow. And
well, you know what it's like to be in front of a live crowd. Maybe not one quite like this. It's very loud. I mean, the building, the acoustics in here, you must be able to feel and hear the support that you're experiencing. What do you want to say to these fans of yours in Manchester here?
Thank you a lot, guys, and these guys as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And that's mean a lot, really. That's a max. The boost in game. Even if we can't hear everything, we hear the vibes behind, and that's amazing.
How much are you enjoying having an Englishman on your roster?
Good, really good.
And finally, Beast Coast on the horizon. We've seen what they are capable of. They will meet you in our grand final. You must have been watching them. They're blowing everyone away. Are you daunted by them at all as an opposition here?
I think it will be a good game. They explode all the guys they face. So it will be a good final for sure, and we'll see tomorrow who's the best team.
All right, Ligafac, thank you very much. I'm about to take a little bit of a risk here. I know that Shaiko doesn't do interviews. In fact, he hates interviews. Shaiko, can I just borrow you for 1 second? I'm not going to talk to you, I promise. I'm not going to talk to you, I promise. Here he goes. No words. I just want to do one thing in front of this crowd.
There it is. Give it up for your grand finalists, BDS. There they are. Our international EU squad has made it in to the grand final, representing the EU League. Welcome back to the desk. We're here with Solotov. Congratulations on the win. How do you feel after this?
Thank you so much. Obviously, we're feeling great. We came here to obviously win the semi-final, then go into the final, obviously. So we're pretty happy. Just gonna chill now, then prepare for the game tomorrow.
A lot of big changes that got you into that grand final. Jesse would like to ask something of our guest here.
Solotov, you obviously had a great game, and I think there was no better moment for you than your ace in round number 3. I want to walk you through that round a little bit and hear what your thoughts were like during that round, because it was an interesting strategy from DarkZero. They're running the Clash, they've done some interesting reinforcements. When you saw this setup, what was your first thought?
When I first see the setup, it was like, I think from FaZe, King was playing Clash. It was a similar strat to this.
Yeah.
So we wanted to just clear a trophy side, but we lost some gunfights, so the round was a bit harder than it's supposed to be.
And is this a strategy that you have prepped for specifically? Because it's been played a couple times, as you said, from FaZe and a few teams. Is this something that you're aware of and were ready for?
To be honest, this map, it was complete adaptation, because we don't know how DZ plays Oregon. They were perma-banning the map, so we wanted to pick Oregon when they let it open. Why not? So this game was a complete adaptation from our side. We have no info about them, how they play the map.
And in the 2vx here, how do you work with BDS to make these kills happen?
BDS calls out and I just kill.
That's simple, eh?
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's what we got. Jack, you got anything to ask here for Solotov?
Yeah, just a quick one, Solotov. Do you feel that you're really settling into this BDS roster now? Because obviously EU League was a bit up and down, but you're coming into your own, I mean, particularly inside of this game, especially with this ace as we see it on the screen. But how do you feel that you're settling into the team?
Obviously, at the start, when I first joined the team, it was a bit harder for me because I was the guy playing the Shaiko role in M&M. So at the start, it was hard for me to adapt the role and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you settle in, it just gets better and better. So it's just getting better and better, of course.
And you're feeling great inside of this team now. I feel that you can just win everything.
Literally the best teammates I've ever had.
There you go.
No doubt.
Seems like it. When you get the investment in the good environment, you get players that can shine, and that's what we got from Solotov and the rest of the squad. Now that it's locked in that you're playing Beast Coast in the final, is there anything you'd like to say to Beast Coast in North America?
We're just going to beat them. It's NA, so it's free.
It's NA, it's free. You heard it here first from Solotov. Give it up to our guests and to BDS. Congratulations. Can't wait to All right, now that we're done with our interview, we'll say thank you again to Solotov. And now we got to break down our match. Complete reactivity from both of the teams, but BDS, they're just charting new ground on every single round.
Yeah, I mean, I like that DarkZero came up with a lot of cool ideas. We saw that Clash play coming through. We've seen that a few times. Obviously, as he mentioned, it's been so long since we've seen DarkZero play this map. They were obviously going to come out with a lot of cool stuff, but I even felt in that first half, when DarkZero got the 3-3 split, it still felt like BDS were in control for most of the map.
However, it also took 2 clutches for BDS to get a 3-3 split. We saw it there, just Solotov and Brede on the 2v5, and Shaiko also getting a 1 versus 2. So it was really a game where it's kind of topsy-turvy, but what comes out on top is the individual skill, the individual talent to just make something happen. That game was there for BDS to win. They didn't end up winning it in the end because they had to fight through from a 3-3 defensive split. And yeah, BDS.
It wasn't...
like, you go up against them, you think you've strategically beat them, you've got a counter-strat, you've got them on a map where they haven't looked comfortable and they've nearly lost to 2 APAC teams, did lose to 1, and even then, just these guys have just got that much talent. It's scary.
It's not just talent too, though. Like, the gun skill's 100% there, but even in that final round, you know, getting the disable through the soft wall, these are the genius plays that they go through, which will consistently take down even the teams that can match them on gun skill.
I'll tell you what, it seems like in our semifinals, the biggest adversary to any team are soft walls, because we've seen it in game 1, we've seen it in game 2, and I hope that we're going to get it once more in our grand final, because that is now locked in. Let's recap things with our bracket and put it up on the screen for you to see. BDS defeating DarkZero 2-0, with Beast Coast taking down Liquid also 2-0 to make it. We have our grand final set, BDS versus Beast Coast in a best of 5.
Just as we all predicted.
Absolutely. Everybody's predictions going down the drain.
The top half of the bracket, maybe you could have predicted. I think BDS to beat Secret, fine. Either of the NA teams, it was a toss-up. But that bottom half of the bracket, Beast Coast, nobody even thought they'd get to the semi-final, let alone the final. And if we're right, Jesse, which we're usually, no, we're not.
Bad track record.
It's the first EU-NA grand final since TSM versus Team Empire at SI 2022.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Brazil, over.
Yeah.
It's all over. It's all over. You know what? We're not done yet with our show. We actually have Ian standing with... Is that cute Moon God? What's going on over there?
we got all sorts of fans here. As they all start to leave, I've managed to keep some BDS fans in the building here. Are we all supporting BDS in the grand final? All right, so I'm going to come to you first. How long have you been a BDS fan?
Ever since we've been in the EU League, really. So since this first started. So when Shaiko first joined, when everyone first joined, I was a fan of them.
What did you think of that performance there?
Really dominating from BDS start to finish, but DZ pulled out some really good tactics, but BDS are just better.
It's true. I mean, the proof is in the pudding there, BDS. We're just better. What's your name?
Jacob.
Jacob, I know you're a big Shaiko fan. Are you happy to see him on the main stage here in the grand final?
Oh, it's amazing to see. I haven't seen him play in a very long time. And I know one thing, my play style in Siege, I've adapted after him. And I love it. It's amazing to see. He's amazing.
He is amazing. Any final words? I'm going to ask everybody, just in a word. I'm going to let you lean into the microphone here. Will BDS beat Beast Coast in our grand final?
Of course. It worked.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Okay. Screw Gunner,
We're getting a very heated grand final tomorrow between BDS and Beast Coast. So let's wrap up what our schedule will look like for Grand Final Sunday. We got a show match ready for everybody, and more info on that tomorrow because there seems to be a few surprises leading up to it. I've seen some tweets, I've seen some stuff circulating, and before our Grand Final between BDS and Beast Coast begins, oh boy, Operation New Blood and all the new goodies will be shown here for everybody to see, and I promise you a lot of oohs and ahs to come from Manchester. Though, it's time for us to say goodbye. So Jesse, Fresh, thank you so much for today. Great cast, by the way.
Thank you very much, Milosh.
Great, I love it when you say it that way. Thank you very much for all of our team here that's made it happen between Lasses casting, everybody that makes it in the background. We love you so very much. Good night.